I'm Alex. I'm with Cloze. Thanks for joining our EXP CRM of Choice session. I'm going to start off with some slides and I'm going to go into a live demo. Today's session is all about telling you all the great things Cloze can do for your business. As a reminder, you can put questions in YouTube chat or in EXP World. My colleagues are there to answer all of your questions as we go. We have extra questions. We'll try to hit them at the end if we have some extra time there. But ask those questions and they'll be sure to answer them as we go. If you're not familiar with Cloze, we're an AI-powered sales and marketing platform that includes a CRM, marketing automation, and lead management. We're the brand standard for Sotheby's International Realty, Corcoran, Windermere, and other brands where sphere selling is at the core of what they do. That's how their agents sell. They get most of their business from repeat clients and referrals. In fact, if you looked at the NAR statistics, close to 50% of transactions come from repeat clients and referrals. So as we talk through how Cloze can make a difference, that's one of the big areas. In fact, it's why Cloze is part of the CRM of Choice program. Lofty and Bold Trail, they're great for businesses. They're purely driven off of lead gen and marketing. And we're great at that too. But for sphere selling, nothing compares to Cloze. I'm going to show you why. Before I do that, I'm going to dive into a little bit of research we did that I thought was pretty interesting. Now, we all have databases, and that can come in a lot of forms. That can come in the form of our contact app on our phone, Outlook, Google Contacts. It could be a spreadsheet that we've had for years. It could be another CRM that you're looking to migrate off of. But what's fascinating is that 88% of the people we talk to never make it into our CRM. And that can happen for a lot of reasons. But these are the people that we interact with at local events, through community events, volunteering, on the sideline of a soccer game or a baseball game or hockey game, that kind of thing. We're woven into the fabric of the community, and therefore we talk to a lot of people, but those people don't traditionally get into a CRM. And that's why if we're doing sphere selling, it becomes pretty hard if we're only talking to 12% of the people that are out there. We're missing a huge swath of our network. And the reason that it happens is that traditional CRM just tends to be a lot of work. It's kind of like an empty filing cabinet, and you have to put everything in by hand. First name, last name, set reminders for yourself to follow up, log every activity. That's a lot of work, and that's why we start off with CRM and then we kind of fade, right? And so nobody likes all that busy work, and that's why Cloze is very different. We're going to discover all those connections for you automatically, so you don't have to do it. See, what you'll find in Cloze is you have 100% of your network all mapped out. And we do that by figuring out all the what we call electronic breadcrumbs. And that can be a mailing list from that group you're volunteering with. It could be the kids' soccer team, right? You're CC'd with a bunch of other parents. Those are all people that are part of your network, and all people part of the community, and all people that can either buy or sell real estate. So they're all part of your sphere. They're people you interact with. Whether you formally get them into your CRM or not, it's a different story. So what Cloze can do is map all that out for you, bring them all together so you don't have to do it. And they're always there for you whenever you need them. So Cloze will pull it together and kind of put them off to the side. Our AI is going to surface people that are important for you automatically, bring focus to them. And then if you want to engage them in any other way, they're right there at your fingertips. So it's a very different approach to relationship management. Now, when you first get going with Cloze, we're going to walk you setting up your account. We're going to have you connect all the places you communicate. So connect your Google account, connect your Microsoft account. So that's going to bring in your Gmail, your Google Calendar, all that, the contacts that are there. Same thing for Microsoft. So if you're on the Microsoft platform, you got Outlook and Google and OneDrive and all your contacts in Outlook and all that kind of stuff. Calendar, we're going to bring all that in for you. In fact, you can connect as many email accounts to Cloze as you'd like. So if you've got many different accounts that you've used for many years, connect them all to Cloze. The more data, the better. Cloze is going to go back in time and pull together all that information for you and organize it automatically. Lots of other apps and services you can connect to Cloze. And you're going to see as we go through here, all the standard EXP ones are included in that integration suite. I think you're going to love the Canva integration that we have. But one to call out here, and it's one of our most loved integrations, is our ability to integrate with your iPhone or Android phone. What I mean by that is Cloze can automatically track calls and texts on your iPhone or Android phone without changing your phone number. So you keep your real number, just keep dialing outside of Cloze and doing what you've always done. And we're going to track those calls and texts for you automatically. What that means is all your communications are automatically tracked. So all your calls, all your texts, all your emails, and all your meetings automatically track for you. Makes Cloze a very different type of platform. We'll talk more about how this information is used on your behalf, but if you've read anything about AI or if you've listened to any of the classes that have been out there, things like that, you know that lots of information is needed to drive AI, and that's how Cloze operates. We're going to do a lot of analysis on your behalf as far back in time as we can, and then use artificial intelligence to help you out, act more like a personal assistant. Now, when you talk about this type of information, the first question comes up is, well, who can see this information? Is it private? The answer is absolutely. We use Cloze internally here, and we want everything private and secure for ourselves. So no one can see your personal content. Nobody at Cloze, nobody at EXP. If you join a team and you set up a team on Cloze, nobody on your team can see it unless you explicitly share it. And that's because we follow the much stricter guidelines that are found outside the United States, because we operate all over the world. So for example, if you operate in Europe, you have to follow what's called the GDPR. GDPR is a very set of laws that we have to follow. In fact, we can help you follow those laws too if you've got EU citizen clients. So we follow those very strict privacy rules. You'll see that reflected in our privacy policy. But from a practical sense, that means all of your information is secure, private, and for your eyes only. Nobody can see it. Makes our job on the support side a little harder. When you reach out, we can't see what you can see, but that's a good thing. It's all encrypted. It's all separated. In fact, what's unique about Cloze is that every single agent that has a Cloze account has their own unique database. It's not commingled. It's completely apart. So that has the advantage of a lot of privacy and security advantages. It also gives you portability. And nobody likes to talk about leaving, right? Nobody likes to talk about leaving EXP or leaving your team on EXP. But if you're going to invest time and resources in setting up a system, you want to know if you can take your information with you if you choose to do so. With Cloze, we've designed it that way so you can leave anytime you want. You can unplug and take your Cloze account with you. It's completely portable. So it's your information, not ours. You can take it with you. We see this all the time. We see agents unplug from one team and plug into another. Leave a brokerage, plug into another brokerage. So that portability gives you a lot of advantages. And one of them is just simply, if you invest in something, you want to be able to keep using it. So you can do so. Everything's encrypted and secure. And another just piece of advice here is you can start small. You don't have to connect everything at once. So you can start off with just an email account and ease into connecting other things over time. You're in complete control. We also have a lot of controls that are more fine grained. So you can say, don't track text messages with my friends and family. That's an example. Or don't even bring in the text messages into Cloze, just indicate that there was an exchange. So you can do things like that to dial in the exact set of privacy controls that you're comfortable with. Okay. So if you have any questions about that, ask our team. They're here to answer those questions. But the key thing here is we're going to automate a lot for you so you don't have to do that busy work, and all of it is private and secure and portable if you need it to be. Now let's take a look at some of the things that Cloze can do with all this information using artificial intelligence. So here's a good example. Cloze is going to analyze emails as you receive them. In this example, Cloze has discovered that I need to get back to somebody on Saturday. They said, give me a call on Saturday morning. So we get lots of email, easy to miss things. What Cloze will do here is just remind me on Saturday morning, hey, I got to get back to this person. Another example, Cloze will update contacts automatically with new contact information it discovers in email signatures. So you can imagine getting a referral. New client, old client of yours that you've worked with for years refers you over. Cloze will create the contact for you automatically from that introduction. It's going to start keeping track of any kind of messages going back and forth. If it spots new information, it's going to update that contact. So the only thing you really need to do is say, is this a buyer? Is this a seller? Is this a hot opportunity ready to go right now? That's all you got to do. Cloze is keeping track of everything, so you don't have to do it. Now here's another good one. Staying on top of our entire sphere can be hard, right? It's hard to get into routine sometimes. Well, Cloze is going to give you an automatic routine. It's kind of like having a coach nudging you to stay on track. So what we'll do is analyze all your communications as far back in time to figure out who you know and who you know well. And if you get out of touch, Cloze is going to surface that person automatically for you. So you don't have to set anything up. In fact, when you first get in there, you're going to start to see people on what we call the Cloze agenda. That's what you're seeing here. And you can just start reaching out. That's my biggest piece of advice when you first get going, is just start reaching out to the people you see in the keep in touch section. They're going to be people that you know well, that you have a real relationship. It's not just kind of arbitrary people. The AI will understand if there's a real relationship there. And because Cloze is connected to your calls and your texts and your emails and your meetings, it knows precisely the last time you talked to somebody. So it's really, really accurate. And as you go on and take some of the other classes, you can fine tune how often we remind you. But regardless, Cloze will start nudging you to get back in touch. So you can think of this agenda as your action plan for the day. It's going to start reminding you to reach out. You don't have to spend a lot of time collecting all the people or looking or sorting and filtering, which we tend to have to do with a lot of other CRMs. With Cloze, we just put the people in front of you that are important, the things you need to do that are important in front of you. You can take care of it and then move on with your day. So it's very action oriented, but you get a lot of results from it. If you just stay on your Cloze agenda, it will make an impact on your business. So here's another example of how the AI will work for you. So if you've ever used the Apple Health Watch app, or used there's similar ones on Android, one of the things that makes it really easy to get going with is it analyzes how you operate, right? How you work out, how you move. So how many steps you do, how many stairs you do, how many miles you might walk per day. It understands all of your real activity. And then it sets goals for you. Those are the rings you got to close. And then it will nudge you a little bit throughout the day to say, hey, a few more steps of stairs, or walk around a little more and you'll get to your goal. Well, it does that by analyzing your history of movement, and then it sets the goals accurately, because somebody who sits behind a desk working all day is very different than an elite athlete that's doing ultra marathons or something, right? So different people at different paces. Cloze does the exact same thing for your business. So it'll analyze all the way back in time your communication with your sphere. It will understand how often you reach out, day of the week you reach out, seasonality in your business. It'll understand all of that and then set your goals. It'll understand when you reach out and how often. Reactions, so coming back in your direction. So when your clients react to you, your sphere reacts to you, they email back, they call back, text, etc. And then if you connect .loop or SkySlope, Cloze will understand how many sides you do per year and what your GCI goal is for the year. So all of that information is all set up for you uniquely. So every single person who signs up for Cloze and starts using it has their own set of goals. And you can, of course, adjust these, but it will keep you on pace. They're weekly goals, so they're designed not to be too stressful. And then it'll nudge you gently to stay on pace, just like Apple does. Another thing we do, again, if you connect SkySlope or .loop, you'll see your purchase anniversary and your sale anniversary also come into Cloze automatically. We'll even organize those clients as closed. They're all done, but they're organized for you, and we'll set those reminders so you can start diving in. But Cloze will nudge you on important dates like birthdays, purchase anniversaries, sale anniversaries, real estate reviews, if you do those. All kinds of ways that you can stay in flow with your clients. So when it comes to what's included in the eXp CRM of Choice program, of course, our core sphere here, so all the functionality in our sphere, I'm going to give you a demo in a moment. And then we've got a full marketing module for you, email marketing, so you can do campaigns. You can automatically follow up with leads, things like that. We have our AI ghostwriter, so to create content, and you can create all kinds of different content and Cloze, everything from full newsletters with links to updating your own bio to drip campaigns, listing descriptions, lots and lots of things you can do with that, or just simple emails. You just want to clean something up or write something new because you're staring at a blank sheet of paper. You're going to love the Canva integration. We're almost there with your marketing team, just getting some templates approved and finally set up. But they do an amazing job of creating all kinds of templates for you with Cloze, you can send a listing. And oh, by the way, we've integrated your listings. So those are going to come in automatically to Cloze. The listings will come into your Cloze account. And then with a single button, you can just send them over to Canva. And then all your listing materials or your open house materials or social media materials, all kinds of things can be created with a single click. It's going to fill in all the information, the photos, the listing details, features, description, all that information created automatically for you. So it saves a ton of time. I think you'll love it. Lots and lots of functionality on the marketing side. And then if you do get leads, we have a lot of ways to capture those leads and make sure they get into Cloze. One of the challenges we have with CRM in general is that leads go into our inbox and then they're stuck over in our inbox, but they never end up in the CRM. So what Cloze does is we can extract that lead information right out of your inbox and create contacts. And then from there, you can do all kinds of things. You can set up campaigns that just engage with the lead. You can set the lead source, lots and lots of things you can do there. So a full suite, CRM, marketing automation, lead management, all included in the EXP CRM of choice for you. Last thing I'll say on this is the nice thing about this lead capture capability is that it doesn't matter what website provider you have. Whether you have one or not, those leads have got to go somewhere. We can get that information into Cloze for you automatically. So if you've got a WordPress site that you love, you've been using, great, keep using it. We'll make sure to get those leads right into Cloze. Okay. So I'm just going to bring up my phone here. Okay, so I'm going to start off on my iPhone. I like to start on my phone because if you think about your daily routine and following up with your Sphere or any other activity you have, a lot of that is going to be done through calls or texts, things like that. So it's easier to start on your phone. So that's where I like to start. Everything you can do on your phone, you can also do on your computer. So I'll switch back and forth to give you a feel for both. We got full featured first-class apps on iOS, so on Apple, and then the same thing on Android. You can use Cloze on your iPad. You can use on your Android tablet. Any computer, Windows, Mac, etc., is fine too. And then when you're using it on your computer, you'll use it in a browser. So same functionality, regardless of where you work. In fact, we started off as a mobile company, so we didn't even have desktop apps many years ago, and then we went over to desktop. So exact same functionality, no matter where you work. And I have to say that because you'd be surprised how many systems don't have mobile apps these days, or they're very, very thin. So same functionality, no matter where you work. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit. We'll start with those keep in touch reminders. You can see Cloze has surfaced 6 for me today. So instead of having to go off to a list and filter and look at manually set reminders, Cloze is bringing these in front of me automatically. So all I have to do is reach out, and they're going to be important people because I've either organized them or Cloze understands there's a deep relationship there and I'm out of touch. So you can see I got Gina, Michael, Evelyn, different people, different cycles. So 2 months for Gina, 3 months for Michael, and 21 days for Evelyn, different cycles. Now to make this easy, instead of having to jump somewhere else to call or email or text, I can just do it right from here. So you can see swiping actions. So if I release on call, I can simply dial her number and it will dial out through my phone. So I'll dial out through AT&T, T-Mobile, whatever I got. Now, if I was, for whatever reason, decided to jump over the phone app outside of Cloze and dial her there, that would also track automatically in Cloze. So when we're talking about automatic tracking of calls and texts with your real phone number, it's not because you just dialed it inside of Cloze. We're still tracking regardless of where you do the behavior. Key point there. So if we swipe and release on mail, you can see it brings up an email. When you first get going, we'll have you set up your email signature and things like that. We have templates that we've worked on with your marketing team too, so you can take advantage of those. But if you got questions, reach out. We're more than happy to help. When you send an email through Cloze, you're sending it through your real email. So you're sending it through your Gmail, your Office 365 account, Yahoo, iCloud, whatever you're using, you're sending it through that account. So if I push send and I look outside of Cloze in my Gmail account, I'm going to see this email in the sent folder. Okay. We include a lot of things built into this. So I'm going to show you a few of these just to give you a feel for how that works. So a good example here, we give you a standard starter template. It's a built-in template. Checking in, haven't talked in a bit, so I thought I'd reach out. Works perfectly fine. But if you want to change that, just simply type in whatever changes you want. Or lower right corner there, there's a light bulb. If I click on that light bulb or tap on that light bulb, that brings up our ghostwriter. So I could change it any way I want. So I'm going to say authenticity. And then it just rewrote it. It went by really fast, but it rewrote the email for me. So I don't have to think about something new. And I'm going to say, give me a new subject. There it is. Long time no chat. How have you been? So a couple seconds, ghostwriter helped me out. Like ChatGPT, same thing. Wrote it up for me, and then I can send that off if I wish to do so. A few things to point out while we're in here. Again, continuing the lower right there, you can see there's different options. If I tap on that plus, I can insert all kinds of things. So it could be a graphic I created in Canva. It could be using BombBomb and I want to insert a video. It could be a picture. You can see lots of other things I can insert into the email if I wish to do so. Right here, those are templates. Anytime I want to send an email, I can use a template it said to save myself writing. So you can create your own. In fact, if I tapped on that, I could create a new template right from what I just created. Easy to do. Or I can select any of these other ones. So think of it as having your own personal library. As your marketing team adds content, you will also see content from them. Now, if I look in the upper right corner, you'll see some options when sending. Scheduling emails, very popular. So if you send something, maybe you're doing email late at night, that kind of thing, you can have it go out tomorrow. So I could say tomorrow morning, and then I can pick what time I want it to go out. You can also set follow-up reminders. I use this myself all the time. So remind me next week. So if Gina doesn't reply, remind me next week. That one is really handy because if she does reply, I don't get a reminder she replied. But I think we've all been there. We've sent emails and then we forget we even sent them because we don't hear back. And then the bell icon right there, that's email open and link click tracking. Also really popular because as soon as Gina opens the email, I'm going to get a notification. So if you've ever used any email marketing tools where they tell you about open rate, click rate, that kind of thing, we're doing the exact same thing, but we're doing it to your business email. So you'll know precisely when they open it up. Really handy, kind of an addictive feature once you see it in play. So as you get going, send a few emails through here and you'll start to see that working for you. So a lot of features layered on there. The idea though is to work through your list in the morning, and these will clear as I do the activity. Now, if you see somebody and you don't want to interact with them, you can just simply skip. That's fine. And we'll remind you on the next cycle. So in this case, 3 weeks from now, or if I go a little further, I can mute them. So if you see somebody on here that you don't care about, you can mute them. That's fine. It is AI. So you're going to see some in there where it's like, maybe it's another agent that you were working with and now you don't really care. You can mute them. That's totally fine. So work through that list as you go. Here's an example right in the middle here of those open notifications. I sent out some emails, got some notifications that they were open. Just be handy. We'll notify you on your watch, the lock screen of your phone with a push notification as well. As we get out here a little bit further, you can see I got some meetings. So meetings will come in from my calendar into Cloze. So they'll come in from Google Calendar or Outlook or whatever I'm using, and you'll see them there, which can be handy. You can do things like add notes. If you haven't talked to somebody in a while, you can reconfirm. Include the time of the meeting. Just a good best practice. At the bottom, you're going to see finish meetings and finish calls. So think of this as your end of day wrap up list or your wrap up checklist, that kind of thing. So you can just go through it, and same thing. You can add notes if you wish to do so. Just add your notes. It'll link to the contact. When you're done, you can clear them off. You can clear all of them at once if you wish to do so. You can also send follow-up emails. Thanks for taking your time. So again, just little best practices here and there. Makes it easy to get through everything. Again, the nice thing about this being full-featured mobile app is that you can spend some time in the morning, and then as the day unfolds and you're away from your desk, you'd still take care of a couple of these little activities. So here's a good example of that. At the top, I've got some important dates. Well, maybe I didn't reach out to Cersei at the beginning of the day, say happy birthday. I got a couple of minutes between meetings, I can simply swipe and send a happy birthday. Easy to do. And again, that ghostwriter, you can just modify our template anytime you want. Easy to do. But the same as before, I could call as well. And a lot of people like to do that. So what we're automating here is bringing these reminders forward so then you can do the personal touch. So you don't miss the birthday, you don't miss the purchase anniversary, and then you can do the personal touch on top of it. I will say you can fully automate these and they just go out automatically via email, but a lot of agents like to add the personal touch. The engagement rate is very high, obviously, if you do that. And it's pretty fast to go through it. Same thing for purchase anniversary, just a different template here. Okay. Here's the goal tracking at the top. So you can see it's the beginning of the week. So I got a fair amount to do today. It's the beginning of the day. I got 45 to get through. So it gives me a little nudge there. I got 13 more to go to stay on pace for the week, but I'm ahead of pace on my sides for the year. So I'm doing well for the year, but I got a little more outreach to go. And then I can even look at the details if I swipe the other way to see how often I'm hitting my pacing and my trends and all that. And you can customize these too. So if you wanted to change and set up to go GCI, you could change it to GCI. Now I can see my GCI. The important thing there is to make sure you connect your SkySlope account to see that information. Okay. I can show you where that is in settings. All right, let's look at this lead here. So I mentioned we have the ability to capture leads out of your inbox. So here's a lead. Cloze alerted me when this came in, and fictional lead, of course, but it grabbed Ellen's name, her email address, her phone number. It's going to set it as a warm buyer for me. Lead source's website, that's where it came from. So it grabbed all that information. All I got to do is hit accept, and I'll have the contact in Cloze. Those keep in touch reminders we were talking about, those are going to make sure I'm on top of the lead, not letting it slip through the cracks. But I could be on the phone very quickly, and it immediately jumped to talk to Ellen. You can also, this is a very simple example, you can also have it auto accept and then trigger a follow-up campaign. And that's very easy to set up too. So we can help you get that going. You can reach out to our support team. You can also create campaigns and things like that yourself. So we make it easy to do, but you can make it automatic. It doesn't have to be this manual one. I just want to show you a simple example here. So any source you have where you get an email, it'll come in that way. I think I lost my sharing here. Let me quickly share it again. Well, that comes up. I like to share my phone here just to give you a feel for how everything looks. All right, there you go. Okay, so one more thing at the bottom, and then we'll go a little further into Cloze. So you can see down here, there's a important message. I'm going to tap on that. So Cloze caught this message. It came in this morning around 7 a.m. And somewhere in here, Dave is asking me for something because Cloze caught it and has set a reminder for 6 p.m. this evening. So my evening. Please send me anything that fits the bill this evening. So the bottom there, he's asking for me to do something, and the deadline is this evening. So Cloze caught that and said, hey, you might need to check in on Dave here. So even if I missed it, didn't reply, didn't call him back, Cloze caught this and then set a reminder for me. So you're going to see these periodically, just another way of the AI catching things. All right, let's take a look at Gina here. I'm going to select her, tap in the middle there. This is a pretty typical profile. You got a picture at the top, and then my timeline. We feature the timeline first, so you can see I've got timeline selected right there. And then if I scroll down this timeline, it goes back as far as I know Gina, as far as the accounts I've connected go. So it's a lot of content there, but it gives you the full picture of everything you're doing with her. So if you've got the Zenlist app connected to Cloze, you're going to see all the Zenlist activity in there. And I can, of course, expand any of these to see the details as well. I can reply, that kind of thing. Now, if I go over from left to right, you can see notes, files, to-dos. I'm going to click on notes. And you can see here all my notes with her. I can expand those as well. Files. Now, these are all the files that Cloze has discovered for Gina. These can be attachments that are on emails. You'll see them here. So it's a fast way to get to those attachments. From services like Google Drive, you can see there, Dropbox, DocuSign, OneDrive, all the places that you might store documents. So instead of uploading documents into Cloze, we just keep track of all the places you're already storing your documents. So in Google, if you create a folder called Gina Harris, anything I put in there will automatically link to her. In fact, we'll even go a step further. And if anytime we see the find Gina Harris in a document, we're going to automatically link it. But then things like DocuSign will link to. So easy to find them. If I keep going to the right, you'll see to do, important dates. So all the dates I've got coming up, anything past due. And then on the right here under about, you're going to see the relationship section. The relationship section tells me who this person is and where they are on their journey with me. So if I go across there, I can see warm, hot, in contract, closed, and lost. So Gina is considered hot. She's on my hot list. And then right below it, call these segments, she's a buyer. And then these are all the other options that exist there. And these are standard ones. You can add others. We've got a class on Wednesday. And that Wednesday class, we're going to go into how you can start organizing contacts, start making any changes you want to make, and that kind of thing. Okay. But as you go down here, you're going to see several sections that you can expand. So I could expand the contact info at a glance. These are quick notes that I have taken about her. Details, track things like who referred me the lead. So Monty referred Gina Harris to me, past client of mine, client I've worked with in the past. Spouse and children, these are also linked. So you can link spouse to each other, partners to each other. If I click on Max, it takes me over to his profile. Two different people, very handy to know who's reaching out to you. Some people will do set up the children too. Obviously, if they're adult children, they could be prospects in the future. But a lot of times if they're younger, you can put in the birthday, and that's a popular reason to add them. Lead source, of course, another something you might want to track. And then there's those important dates. So birthday, wedding anniversary, real estate review, purchase or sale anniversary. These will switch automatically depending on how you've been interacting with them, but helpful to track and get in there. So as you first get going with Cloze, these are some of the things you may want to put in. If you have birthdays in Google Contacts or your phone contacts, those will come in automatically. If you connect SkySlope, purchase and sale anniversaries will be put in there for you automatically, but you can set them. Big thing for all of these, if you don't know the year, that's okay. Just get the date in and it just reminds you every year. So along the bottom, you'll see several different things. I can go to the inbox, and that's just like an inbox in Outlook. People, all the people I know. When you first get going, you're going to see that add button for your contacts. You can bring in all your device contacts. Properties, all your properties will come in automatically from EXP, so the feed there. So let's go over and look at the desktop. So exact same thing that you saw, just we have more space. So the tablet version is going to look similar to this because we have that extra space off to the right, but same exact view. The only difference is you're going to see these rollovers. So if I wanted to reach out to Gina, I just click on the arrow and it will bring up that same template I was looking at before. Same functionality, same everything else. There's the ghostwriter. So if I wanted to ghostwrite the subject, it would change. I click on the drop down, you can see there's the email open tracking, schedule, follow-up, all of those things. And then same options down here on the toolbar. Now, as we move between sections, the nav here is on the left. If I click on inbox, it'll bring me to the inbox. Same thing as any other inbox. I can reply, I can create a new message, all the things you'd expect. Do the exact same thing in Gmail, Outlook, very similar. People, these are all your contacts. These are the contacts that are going to come in automatically from Google, from Outlook, spreadsheets you may have imported, all the contacts that you formally created are going to be here. So this is that, if you think about what I said earlier, this is where the 12% are going to exist. Okay, so these are all the contacts that you've manually created over time and put in there. That's where you're going to see them here. If you click on My People, you're going to see something called Discovered People down here. That's where all of the people that Cloze has found through mapping out your network. So that one you can peruse over time. It's going to have people you've just met, people you met a long time ago, but that discovered people is where the other part of your network, the greater part of your sphere is going to exist. Even if they're in that section, Cloze will surface some of them for you automatically based on how well you know them. It's certainly possible you've got people you interact with all the time, but you never created a contact for. When you're in the people section, you're going to see a number of views, as I just showed you. But you can organize the data on the screen in a lot of different ways. So you'll see some different options here. I like the table version myself just because it's compact and I can see a lot of different things at once. If I select Kanban board, it's more column based, so I can drag people between them. I can filter in lots of different ways. So if I wanted to just look at buyers, for example, it gives me a visualization of what that looks like. So it gives me a nice way of seeing where I am from a progress perspective, if I wish to do so. But again, I like the table just for getting compactness. So you can go. Now let's look at Gina again. If I look at Gina, you can see along the top here, these are called tags. On the right, we talked about relationships, so warm, hot, and contract. Those are stages. This is all about the journey, but eventually Gina will be closed. She'll be all done. I still need a tag, or I can still use a tag to find her outside that journey. So you can see here, she's into the food scene. I give her a gift every year. She's on my holiday card list and newsletter. So tags are very helpful to find these different, people in different ways. So you can have as many tags you want. You just simply add them. Easy to do. So let's take a look at how you can use those tags. So one of the tags you just saw there is called holiday card. I'm going to select that. Now what this did is just filtered my view to everybody with the holiday card list. If I tap on this check mark here, I can select all the people that have that tag. So I've got 101 people that have that tag. Now this is where organization is helpful. So you can do a lot of different things. You could log that you sent them a card in the mail. So if it's a holiday, some holiday, and you just put a card in the mail, you could do that. You can make changes. You can also send a mail merge. Now what a mail merge is a way for you to send a personal email to many people at once with one push of the button. Now this isn't BCC. What this is sending, in this case, 101 unique emails all out the door to all these people. So it will look like I sent an individual email and I typed up 101 emails by hand. If I was to look outside of Cloze in my Gmail account in the sent folder, I'd see 101 messages all sent out. They wouldn't know I sent this by pushing the button once. They're going to think I just typed it to them. So you can see how it's flipping. Emily, Monica, Ted, Tom. Each person is going to get their own copy, and that's what we're signifying there. So it's a nice way to be very authentic because it looks very one-to-one, because it is, but do it in a very scale way. So let's go a little further. I'm going to click on the ghostwriter here. See the light bulb? I'm going to click on that. I'm going to select other topic. So we just had 4th of July, and I suggested this last week if anybody attended the class last week. But if you were ahead of the holiday and you were going to say, wish a client happy 4th of July, the ghostwriter here can write this content for me. So we've got some different options. Authenticity is the tone, so I'm going to pick that. But then you can pick others. Language, you can use different languages, all kinds of different things here. And I'm going to say start writing. So it's going to write me an email. So it just said, happy 4th of July. Great. Enjoy the festivities. So it just wrote the email. I didn't have to do much there. Easy. Now this is where you can get even more personalized. Upper right corner, we looked at some options, but when I'm doing a mail merge, you'll see a few extras. So add recipients. So I'm going to say add spouse to the to line. So now what you're going to see over here is you're going to see a few people go by. So you just saw Ben and Mary. What's happening here is now that spouse is linked. So remember we were just looking at Gina and we saw Max was linked. Well, if we go here, we can see Gina and Max are on the to line. So this email is going to go out to the two of them as if I typed up an email to the two people. It's only going to be them on there, no BCC or anything. So they're going to think I really just reached out to them, which is super handy from a personal standpoint. Now this modem also allows me to personalize it even further. So I could say, how's the puppy? Say they got a new dog. And that line I just typed will only go to Gina and Max. Very handy. So as things are flipping through, the rest of the folks are going to get that other template, but Gina and Max will get the modified one. Pretty handy. So a great way to reach out to a lot of people at once. It's sent through your real email, because it is a real email. You'll see it in that sent folder outside of Cloze. Okay. So just a good example of organizing. Now, if I go down to the next one here on the left, I'm going to select properties. This is where your listings are going to come in automatically. So the next thing I want to show you is that Canva integration. I think you're going to love this one. So I'm going to click on 1044 West Hill, Bear Island. So imagine this is your listing. It came in automatically. Got all my details here. I've got the price, very nice price point, obviously, features, all my photos. You can see all the different photos here. Details, beds, baths, square feet, all the things you'd expect. They're all here. And of course, my description. Upper right corner, if I click on more options, I can say send to Canva. If I click on that, it's going to pop up an option to pick a template. Now, nice thing about what we built here with Canva, and I know EXP has an amazing partnership with Canva. This is kind of taking it to the next level, because your marketing team has created all kinds of templates. So here's all these different templates that they've created. I can pick a single template, so one of these down below, or they have packs, as they're called. So I'm going to pick this listing pack here. So it's got 9 different templates in the pack. The property, again, is the 1044 West Hill, Bear Island. And then I'm the agent. That's not really me. That's the fake demo agent. And then here are all the templates it's going to create. So it's going to create everything from a Facebook ad to a social, to stories, to a website, listing flyers, all of that, one click of the button. So I'm going to hit create, and it's going to get going, creating these for me. It takes a couple seconds. Then what you're going to see is it's going to hop over to Canva like it's doing now and created all these different materials for me. So you can see, got all these different things. Pretty handy. So here's a simple one. Here's a flyer. So it filled in the photos, filled in the QR code, description, all the different things, the property features, agent information, all that stuff. But it will even do videos. So here's a video. So it filled them all in. You can see this one's got a lot of options in it. So if I hit play, all that nice animation with the photos, everything done automatically. I didn't change anything. So it really does save a ton of time. And again, your marketing team has done an amazing job creating all these things. So you can really take advantage of them. There's a Facebook one here. It looks really nice. So a lot of really, really great ones here that you can do. And again, even if you're in another one is the website. So you can create a whole website on the fly too. So all I got to do is hit publish, and I've created my website. Pretty handy. So lots of really good options here on the Canva side. You're going to see, we'll do a class dedicated just to the Canva integration here coming up as we go this summer. We got a lot of classes coming. These are kind of the introductory ones, but on the marketing side, it gives you a really nice advantage. Now, another thing you can do as we get into some of the other capabilities is you can add any kind of the Canva graphics into Cloze. So if we go into the library, anything you've created in Canva will come in automatically for you. So you'll see all those materials in Cloze for you, and you can use them inside of marketing materials. You can attach them to emails, to flyer, that kind of thing. So it saves a ton of time. All right. So while we're in here, let's look at a little bit of the a little more of the marketing type material here, and then I'm going to flip back and do a few more slides. So if you're in the library, click on the plus. This is where you can create all kinds of different things. I'm going to select the Ghostwriter to show you how you can create a drip campaign in just a few clicks. So we're going to say drip campaign, and then just to save myself time, you can type in, just like we did before, you can type in anything you want, but to save myself time, I'm going to pick one of the pre-written ones. So we're going to say educate home sellers on how to increase the value of their home. Again, I can type whatever I want. In this case, I'm going to say drip style. It's a newsletter with articles, but you can pick. And so what this will do is actually search the web and find articles for you. And then best match. So which ones? And then another thing that can be very helpful, I'm not going to do it here, but you can add additional context. So the additional context could be about your team, about yourself, about the brokerage, whatever it might be. You can add that and it will enrich anything it writes with that additional context. It can be very handy. Number of drips, so how many emails is it going to create, and then how much time between them. So I've got a month, but I could say make it 2 weeks. So I'm going to say start writing. And now what it's doing is it's creating the 4 emails. It's found all the articles. So we'll hit create. Now it's going to go out and create these for me. So without me having to do a lot of work, it's doing all this work for me. So hit create campaign. So now what happened is I've got a full campaign, all my different emails, which you can see down here, all with imagery. You can see they all have articles. These are all different articles, all written, easy to do, super easy. So a good example of how AI can really help you create content very quickly on the fly. All right, I'm going to go to one more thing here, and then just to show one of the features that we have that I think is very helpful for some markets, and depends on how you operate, who you work with. But I'm going to click edit on this newsletter I got here. So one of the unique things that Cloze can do is you can create content in a number of different languages in a single template. So one of the ways we're able to achieve that is Cloze understands the language you use to communicate with your emailing. And so if you're communicating in French, Cloze will understand that you're communicating with this specific client in French. It will note that automatically and using AI. And then if you create templates, you can create templates that are in English and French, or English and Spanish, or whatever language you want, Italian, any number of languages. And then when that recipient that speaks French with you gets the email, they're going to get the French version. So a single email template can house multiple languages. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to the very bottom, and I'm going to say translate, and then I'm going to pick French. Pick French Canadian. So what it's going to do here is translate everything, and then you can see there's the EN and the FRCA. That's the French Canadian. And so it's only going to show the French version to the French speakers, and it's only going to show the English to the English speakers. And you can see how it's designating each section. So this feature can be very handy if you need multilingual templates. Okay. Another thing I'll show you is that if you want to bring in anything from Canva, just simply drag it and you can pick anything you want. Really helpful. Okay. All right. I'm going to go back, do a few slides here as we wrap up. An important thing to know about Cloze, you can work as a team in Cloze. Through the trainings, we're going to get you going individually, and then you can start to form team. We'll have classes on how to do that over time here. Because Cloze is automatically tracking calls, texts, emails, meetings, all of that, it really creates a great opportunity for collaboration. Kind of a common problem is you end up kind of saying, who talked to this person last, especially if you're working together. So you can optionally share your communications across the team as needed. Again, fully optional. We got a lot of privacy controls for this, but it makes it a lot easier. And a lot of teams ease into it. We use it internally, and it just makes it, much more understandable to know who talked to that client last. And on the team, you can just scan there, and you can dial in what level of privacy you're comfortable with. But if you're trying to understand what the email was, who said what last, it gives you a really nice way of doing that. At the top, we also have a AI summary that will summarize. So think of if you're a manager and you just want to see what's happening really quickly on a lead, easy to do. The other important thing to know is that because we're tracking everything outside of Cloze, all of that activity that's calls, emails, text, just updates Cloze automatically. So once you're sharing, that information can share across. But again, we got controls. You can control what's seen and what isn't seen. We have a middle ground too that can be very helpful. So you can kind of think of it as there's full privacy, no activity is shared, no content shared, to the other end of the spectrum where you're sharing your emails and your texts and all that. And then in the middle, we have what's called redacted. And redacted mode means that you can see that a text message occurred or an email occurred, but you can't read the contents. So a lot of teams start there, and then eventually they start sharing more as you go. If you have multiple people dialing off of a list, so you've created a list and you're sharing it and everybody's working off that, we'll give you an indicator if another person on the team is also calling that person to avoid colliding. It saves you time. You'll see that just indicated with the initials there. And then we have the ability to manage shifts inside of Cloze. So you can come on and say, I'm around, I'm available. This comes into play for lead routing is the biggest area that we see this used in. So imagine a lead coming in off the website, you route it to agents that are available, right? So who can pick up the phone and jump on. So you just say, I'm available until 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. or whatever time you're available to. And whoever's on duty can receive those leads. So that little shift option is very helpful. And of course, we've got all kinds of analytics you can use to keep track of who's doing what. Are there, these are leaderboard here to show you what activity is happening, and these columns are customizable. Leads are a big piece of how a lot of teams operate. And so as we talked about earlier, Cloze can capture leads from hundreds and hundreds of different services. Any service that sends an email alert, that can be brought into Cloze. I always describe the inbox as where leads go to die. So leads come in for your team into whatever mailbox you got. It could be a central one that the team shares, but it can extract those, pull it out automatically, and then it can route it. So this is an example of how an email can be parsed to pull it out. As long as there's an example, it can auto parse for you. Our team can help you set this up. It's also self-service, so you can do it yourself. It's pretty easy, but if you need assistance, reach out to our team. Happy to help. Once that's been set up, you can then route it. So we've got all the common kind of routing strategies that you'd expect: round robin, workload-based, jump ball, lead pawns, those kind of things. But you can also fine tune it for specific neighborhoods, zip codes, that kind of stuff too. Now, I know we always get a lot of questions about websites, so a few things to say here. So one, doesn't matter what website provider you have, we can grab those emails and get them into your team or into your own personal account. That's very straightforward, easy to do. We have direct integrations with a number of different website providers. For those integrations, you'll see other details like activity, browsing. Do they favorite something? Do they save something? Do they communicate with you? And then we're always adding others. And then in all cases, if the website includes things like Safe Search, that kind of thing, or you're using Zenlist, which I highly recommend, just keep using all those tools because that's what those tools are for. Okay. Now, another common question here is what's included. So if you've been on our website at all and perused, you'll see on our pricing page the Cloze Business Platinum. That's included. the team support we just talked about, so you can set up a team in Cloze, no extra cost for that. All the lead management capabilities, multilingual marketing I just showed you, and of course that Canva enterprise integration, that's included. And then we've got lots and lots of integrations you can take advantage of. You'll see that on our website too. You can search for, but we're also adding new integrations all the time. So connect as many services you like. Speaking of which, here are all the core EXP solution capabilities that you have out there, integrations you have. So Canva, SkySlope, Slack, Dotloop, these can all be connected. EXP Access, which is ZenList. And then we've got direct integrations with the national and EXP Do Not Call contact lists, and those listings, as we talked about earlier, will sync in automatically. That one's especially important for the Canva stuff I just showed you. So what you'll find with Cloze is that you get a lot of deep integrations, and we're always adding more. So these are just single click, authorize, lots and lots that you can use there. And again, we're always adding more. Small sample here, but should be able to take advantage of a lot of the tools you're already using inside of Cloze. Now, if you are migrating from another CRM, what you're going to find is within the setup, once you get into your Cloze account, you're going to see a getting started section. We're going to bring in those contacts from Google, from 365, but then you'll see some options to import your phone contacts and import a file. So if you have an export out of another CRM, we can do it for you. So take advantage of that. You'll see an option there. You click on that. In fact, we'll tell you, just attach it to this email, send it to our support team, we'll take care of it. So take advantage of that option. Saves you a ton of time. You don't have to learn how to import a file. We'll just do it for you. So if you got multiples, that's fine too. Just give us some instructions on what they are, and then we can guide you in the right path and then help you get it imported. It will save you a lot of time. So we don't want you spending time trying to learn all that, and we just want you getting in and getting started. Okay, so we'll make that as easy as possible. So sign up just started July 1st. If you're making your decision, hopefully this gave you a good overview of what we're all about. There's lots of recordings from previous sessions. Wednesday, we've got another session that's all about getting started, how to get going with your account, get a good foundation for using it. So we're going to be continuing these sessions throughout the summer, all the way until September. So join us for more sessions. We'll have others that cover the marketing and teams and all that kind of stuff. But if you are migrating off of another CRM, export those contacts and get them over to our team. We'll help you get them in there. All right. If you got any questions, feel free to ask our team, or they can wave at me and have me answer them. But otherwise, this is our material for today, and we look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. Any other questions out there? All right, it looks like we're all good. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hope everybody had a great 4th in the United States, and